Welcome back to the Scoop on Supplements. Today's episode takes us somewhere that might surprise you, your gut. The gut-brain axis is one of the most rapidly expanding areas of health science, and what researchers are finding challenges the way most of us think about stress, mood, and sleep. Your gut isn't just processing food, it's producing neurotransmitters, communicating directly with your brain, and playing a central role in whether you feel calm or anxious, rested or wired. Taya and Raffaele break down the science, the practical interventions, and the supplements, including probiotics, prebiotic fiber, and B vitamins that support the gut-sleep-stress connection, including a natural plug for a product Taya's team at Bosmora has been developing specifically for this gap.
Taya, gut health is something I've been focusing on in my practice for a long time. It's fundamental in functional medicine and homeopathy. But I feel like conventional science has now caught up in a really compelling way. Where do you see the state of the research?
It's genuinely exciting. The gut-brain axis, the bidirectional communication highway between your enteric nervous system and your central nervous system, it's no longer fringe science. The statistic that always gets people, approximately 90 to 95% of the body's serotonin is synthesized in the gut. Most people think of serotonin as a brain chemical, and it is at the central level, but the gut serotonin system is its own entity, and it communicates with the brain via the vagus nerve in ways that directly affect mood, stress response, and sleep.
And that's before we get into the direct effects of the microbiome itself. The bacterial ecosystem in your gut is metabolically active. It's producing short-chain fatty acids, synthesizing B vitamins, modulating immune tone, influencing GABA and dopamine pathways. When the ecosystem is disrupted through stress, poor diet, antibiotics, the downstream effects are systemic.
Let me lay out the communication pathways here, because this is where the mechanism becomes really compelling. First, the vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve in the body running from the brainstem to the abdominal organs. About 80% of vagal fibers are afferent, meaning they carry signals from the gut to the brain, not the other way around. Your gut is constantly talking to your brain. The question is what it's saying. Second, the HPA axis is directly influenced by the microbiome. Germ-free animal studies, that is, mice raised without any gut bacteria, show exaggerated stress responses and dysregulated cortisol patterns. When you introduce normal gut bacteria, the stress response normalizes. That's a direct demonstration that gut flora shapes the HPA axis. Third, gut permeability. Under chronic stress, cortisol impairs tight junction integrity in the gut wall, allowing bacterial lipopolysaccharides to enter systemic circulation. These LPS molecules are potent immune activators. They drive inflammatory cytokine release. They cross the blood-brain barrier, and they worsen both mood and sleep architecture. So stress damages the gut, and the damaged gut feeds back into inflammation and stress, another loop within the larger loop.
And this is why in functional medicine practice, gut restoration is often the first intervention. Before the adrenal work, before the sleep optimization, because if the gut permeability is off, everything else you build is compromised. I've worked with clients who tried every sleep supplement available with marginal results. And when we address the gut, dietary changes, probiotics, reducing inflammatory foods, the sleep changed in ways that nothing else had managed. The connection is real and clinically meaningful. Let's talk probiotics, because there's enormous variation in quality and evidence here. And our listeners deserve specifics rather than generic take a probiotic advice. The strains with the most evidence for the stress-sleep-mood axis are Lactobacillus rhamnosus, Lactobacillus helveticus, and Bifidobacterium longum. These have been studied specifically for anxiety, cortisol reduction, and sleep quality. The mechanism involves GABA receptor modulation. Interestingly, these bacteria produce GABA precursors that influence the very same calming pathways we discussed in the sleep architecture episode. Strain specificity matters enormously. A generic billion CFU product with random strains is not the same as a targeted formulation with evidence-backed strains. When I formulated 1H scripts, this is one area where I'm very precise about what goes in.
And the prebiotic piece is equally important. because probiotics without their food source have limited persistence in the gut. Prebiotic fibers like inulin, fructooligosaccharides, resistant starch feed the beneficial bacteria and support the production of short-chain fatty acids, particularly butyrate, which is the primary fuel for colonocytes and a key regulator of gut barrier integrity. Practically speaking, most people's diets are dramatically low in prebiotic fiber. The processing of modern food strips it out. This is actually the gap that Bosmora has been developing around, a vegan fiber formulation specifically designed to provide meaningful prebiotic fiber in a convenient form. Because the data on fiber and gut health, and through that mood, stress, and sleep, is compelling, and the delivery gap is real.
That's a product I'm genuinely interested to see because it addresses something that's fundamental and underserved. Most fiber supplements are either chalk textured or taste terrible, which means people don't take them consistently. If you solve the delivery problem, you solve the adherence problem.
B vitamins are the third pillar I want to highlight here, because the gut connection is direct. Gut bacteria synthesize B vitamins, and those B vitamins, particularly B6, B9, and B12, are cofactors in serotonin and GABA synthesis. A disrupted microbiome means reduced B vitamin synthesis, which means impaired neurotransmitter production, which means worse mood and worse sleep. And the stress connection loops back too. As we touched on in episode 5, chronic stress depletes B vitamins rapidly. So you have an environment where demand is high and supply is compromised. A quality methylated B complex is a simple foundational intervention that supports this whole axis.
That's episode 6, the gut-sleep-stress triangle. Your gut is more than a digestive organ. It's a mood regulator, a stress modulator, and a key architect of your sleep quality. Next episode, we talk about rebuilding your rhythm, the circadian biology behind why your sleep-stress cycle gets out of phase, and the practical tools to reset it, including a deep dive on 5-HTP and the real science of melatonin done right. Bosmora.com and 1hscripts.com in the show notes. Subscribe so you don't miss the Circadian Reset episode. It's one of the most practical in the series.